Welcome in to my crew video. All right. So, I've been getting a lot of questions lately about how to crew for certain things. Um, so, I'd like to address that in a video that everybody can watch. Everybody can learn something. I'm not going to give you guys all the secrets of the crews, but I am going to give you guys a general informational video. Um, so, right off the rip, the first thing everybody wants to know, hostile grinding, okay? So, depending on the hostile you're grinding, more likely than not, you're going to use Pike Moreau Chen, which I will show you here. Go to Assign Officers. We'll switch to Pike Moreau Chen. Okay, see? Now, the reason for this, and I'll show you. Pike increases effectiveness of all officer abilities that trigger in combat. Moreau decreases the armor piercing, shield piercing, and accuracy of a hostile by a certain percentage. And again, that's all different based on the tier. However, the synergy is what's important. The synergy increases the effectiveness of Pike's ability. So let's hit confirm, and then we'll go back in and look at it. So he triggers, or he increases abilities that trigger in combat by 120% now. Now, higher tiers, that's going to be better. Also, if you're experience grinding, this helps. But I'll show you. There's another crew for that. This is 40%. But again, the synergy is what matters, because Chen decreases damage done by the energy weapons by 25%. Now imagine you take 25%. Look at that multiplier right there. Okay. That's the big thing. While we're in here, for the uncommon Karmadas, you want to switch that out a little bit differently. Okay. Uncommon Karmadas, you'll run this crew. Pike, Moreau, and of course, the one that caused all the controversy. The reason that people were sending 5,000 and more poop emojis to the Scopely devs is this crew right here. And the reason for this, decreases damage from criticals by 40%. Now, when you use that in conjunction with Pike and Moreau, the boost, and then you put that on an Armada that has a cumulative increase to crit, that is a good way to negate that. So that's why that was such a big deal. Everybody complained. There's your reason. Another crew to look at, base cracking. There are several different options. You can run with what I run with, which is pretty simple, base crack crew. I use my ROM with my Khan and my Harrison. However, there's another option. You can run Khan, go to your group. You can run Hoheim, or Joheim, or however you pronounce it, and Katie, right? Now look, let's just check this out here. Okay. 85% chance of drastically reducing the mitigation of all opponent ships and defense platforms for 2 rounds, right? Plus, the cumulative increase to critical chance by 1% every time you get hit by a weapon, right? This decreases the weapon damage of all the ships and defense platforms. Increases critical hit damage by 20%. After a few rounds, Khan increases your chance. He decreases their ability, and she increases the damage done. So this is the beginner crew that if you don't have ROM, but you do have, the augments, this is the augment crew you want to run. There are other variations of this crew. We won't get into specifics, but there are other variations of that crew that are helpful as well, depending on the circumstance, which that's more detailed, more advanced crewing, and we'll make another video on that another day. But for now, just the basics. Another crew to look at, okay, is your PvP crew. Okay. Let me explain how this works. You guys need to really pay attention to the officer's abilities. For instance, at the start of battle, Alexander Marcus increases the shield piercing of the ship by 100% of the defense of the crew on the ship. So what does that mean for you? Well, let's show you. That means when you're crewing, you remove all of your lower decks, right? Confirm. This is where people screw up. These numbers over here are important. However, they don't mean shit once you go past 300%, okay? So, defense. We're at 300% defense. If this did not have an ability that triggered based on defense, you would stop adding defense right here. And you would switch to something else, like looks like our health is low. You would switch to health. But in this case, defense is the name of the game. The defense is what's key. So then we throw another defense officer. Another defense officer. And now look, the attack and the health are at 300%. The only thing that triggers for health is Yuki. Okay? Romulan ships, 35% of the health of the crew. So while health is important for attacking a Romulan ship to increase that ability, the defense is where you really want to aim because the health is already at 300. So everything we add to defense now is going to also add a little bit to the health. Look at that. Okay? And look at that. Look at it going up. It's going up some more. And we're at 15K, 15.4K for defense. So that means, now watch, let me go in here and look. He increases the shield piercing of the ship by 100% of the defense of the crew. So that means your shield penetration goes from 476K, okay, times 100%. So it basically doubles that. So this is an important aspect. Let's just show you another random crew just to give you guys a better understanding of why that matters. Let's look at morale. Let's do morale, for instance, okay? All right. We'll just throw it there for now, just because, okay? Why the hell not? Confirm it. Let me show you something here. Look at the ability. Every time the ship gets hit by a weapon attack, McCoy increases the defense by 25%, right? And Spock will restore the shield health to 400% of the defense. So again, defense, defense, defense. So we stack out our defense, right? Look at that, 16.7K defense, right? So that means that your shield health is going to go up by 400% of the defense number, okay? That is what we're talking about when we say stack your lower deck. We're not talking about put lower decks officers. Now, for example, you put a crew on here that doesn't rely, okay, doesn't rely on any stats. For instance, the base crack crew, okay? Let's look at these. This delays fire. It has nothing to do with stats. This is cumulative. It has nothing to do with stats. Same thing. Same thing, right? Doesn't do shit stat-wise. So the only thing you need to do is get these to 300. So we start with the defense seems to be the lowest thing we've got. So let's throw a defense officer on there. Look at that. This next thing we'll do is we'll throw an attack officer on there. Boom, we're at 300. We don't need to put anything else on this ship, stat-wise. However, now this is where below deck comes in place. Now you can throw Rutherford, Badgie, Boimler, Any others? If you want to go smack some bases and get there fast, you can throw O'Brien for the warp increase. If after you crack the base, you want to take a bigger chunk of it with you on your way back before you switch out to your raiding crew, you can throw this one under there. And then look at this. Look, boom. So now these stats, once they hit 300, they don't do shit for you. However, you now 50% to shield, 23% to penetration, 50% to mitigation, warp speeds by 70, base cargo by 25%. Those are important. Those will help you. However, removing these two will do nothing for this number. They'll do nothing for your ability to punch through because it stops at 300%. Once you hit 300%, it's useless. You don't need to keep stacking out. You can leave those empty. They only really matter if you're stacking out your lower decks with lower decks officers after you reach that 300%. If you put them there first, you take away from valuable points that you could use when running like crews that don't require a stat to stack. You could stop it where it stops. Once it stops, it's done. It's over with. You add these and you increase your chances even more. So it's definitely something to look at, right? Definitely something to look at. Another example, cargo crews for mining. You want to go hostile hunting, right? Say you want to use your Vidar, right? You want to go hostile hunting, or not hostile. You want to go OPC hunting with your Vidar, right? So we'll swap the ship out. We'll throw the Vidar on there. Don't mind mine. It's been neglected. I've been using it mostly for rep grinding and credits to purchase my enterprise blueprints. We'll make another video on that another day. For right now, to show you this. Say you want to go OPC hunting. Okay? Check this out. Switch it back to strength. Leave it alone. Alright. So, here's the kicker. First thing is, you want to increase your cargo size. You want to be able to get the biggest amount for your haul, right? However, you also don't want to die with these new defenses. So, actually, let me change this. Let's just exit out of here. I'll switch it with a different ship. Because I already have a crew ran on here. Okay, on my amalgam. So, oh, that's the one. Okay, so assign officers. Yeah. So right here, we've got this crew on the amalgam, right? So let's go ahead and swap this out with the Vidar. And let's show you what this does. Okay. And then we can throw our warp officer. Increase all of this, right? Throw the warp officer if you want to go faster. Or you can throw Boimler down there, right? Now look at this. Look at this. Watch this. Look at the cargo on this thing. 402K. You can take almost 500,000 resource with this cruddy little, what is this? Tier what? Tier 6 Vidar, okay? Which I don't even think I have the cargo upgraded on it yet. Yeah, see? I don't even have the cargo upgraded on it yet. Once I do that, look at the difference. I get that much extra cargo out of it. So, right now, with this the way it is, I can go OPC hunt and pull 400K. Alright? And I've got... Now let's look. Increase storage by 35%. Now this is just mining, right? He's just there for the synergy. It doesn't matter. Again, mining right there for the synergy. This is there for the cargo hold. And then your lower decks, you've got your cargo hold increase again to give you more space for OPC hunting. You know, your penetration, your shielding, and your mitigation, which are important when you're going up against these new automated defense on your, survey ship. So it's definitely something to look into when you guys are OPC hunting. Pay attention to your lower deck. Pay attention to your cargo, what ship you're using. Um, there's different tactics. Everybody uses something different. This is what I use, and you don't have to use this. I encourage you to toy around, play with it a little bit, and find what works best for you while still giving you the results that you need. Um, Another option, let me show you here. We'll go to cruise, right? We've talked about active defense. I'm not going to get into that on this video. Um, let's go ahead and show another hostile crew, right? This is what I run. Oh, hello, kitty. Cat likes Star Trek. What can I do? So the crew I use to grind my Borg probes, right? I'll run my Strange New Worlds crew. Surprisingly enough, it works really well. I do things a little different. Some people run 789. Some people run a different Borg crew. Me personally, I run the Strange New Worlds crew, and for good reason. And I'll show you. All right, so there we go. We'll go to group. We put Pike over here, Spock over here, but Spock doesn't do very much for you, does he? So we go ahead and throw her up there. Look at that, 10% synergy, right? And then, what is her ability? Increases critical hit. Boom. Increases armor, shield deflection, and dodge by 500% of total attack, right? So, naturally, you're going to go to attack. You're going to throw these officers down there with attack, right? Attack, assign officer. Attack, assign officer. Another attack officer. Another attack officer. And another. And another, right? So now look. You've got that attack up to what now? Like, come on. So, obviously, we wouldn't be using the Sally, but just to give you an idea how to crew. So, now that everybody has an idea how to crew, hopefully there's no more questions on the issue. Advanced crewing is a little bit different. Learning how to crew to fight a specific crew. For instance, somebody's running Lorca Tilly Honor Guard Wharf. How do you take that out? Okay. Somebody's running, I don't know, the strike team. How do you counter that? Those are advanced crewing. Those are, more towards fighting specific things. Keep in mind that crews will change. Research is heavily important. And no matter what crew you use, no matter how high your research is, if you use the crew and the research and max them out, that's great. But if you're fighting against the triangle, if you are fighting someone that's significantly overpowered compared to you, you may still win. However, don't get upset if the crew doesn't work, and don't come crying to me. These are not guaranteed. These are just stats and math, okay? The math works. However, you still have to keep account for Scopely's random number generator. So not every time are you going to be successful. You may be successful 9 times out of 10. But when we get into advanced crewing, there's way more to it than just the ship and the research and the crew. There's also which crew do you use for which officers to counter them. Sometimes the weirdest things work. For instance, I know it sounds silly. You can't use Pike and Moreau for PvP, yet for some reason, when you combine Pike, Moreau, and Harrison, you will bypass the shield completely for that first round. And if you put it on a Saladin and you're going up against an Explorer that's got huge shield health, you will literally bypass. It's the Enterprise killer. That's why I use, I'll show you here, not swap ship, assign officers. This is what I use to kill Enterprises. And there's a reason for it. Okay? There's an absolute reason for it. Swap out all these attack officers for my defense officers. And looky, looky. We've got a stacked out defense that will penetrate the shield. And on top of that, this will bypass the shield. And with the synergy, it's a little bit heavier than that. So, going up against an Enterprise with an Interceptor, okay, that's Explorer and Interceptor. The Explorer has the advantage naturally because of the triangle. But when you put the right officers on there, you can punch up. All right? This is something you guys all need to keep in mind. All right? Well, with that being said, I think that's about as much as I feel like giving you guys this close to incursion on crewing. If you're from the opposing server, please don't watch this video. Or if you're hearing me say this now, you probably already have. And I'm, just being a horse's ass. But if you're from my server, even if we're enemies, even if we don't see eye to eye, even if you're in an alliance that doesn't follow ROE, this is how you set your crews. This is important. This is definitely good information to have. If you need more information, you can follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/icepick86. You can also look at YouTube videos. Some of my favorites that I recommend are Reb Deuce and, of course, Reb Deuce. I mod for him. Awesome dude. Very knowledgeable. If you haven't already, go check him out. But also DJ, Ultimate DJs, the kitty cat with the beer helmets. And anyway, not important. If you've seen Rev or DJ's videos, they will give you a lot of insight too. If there's any questions that I haven't answered for you, I promise you will find it in one of their videos. And if not, maybe one of us will make one soon with the answer you need. Just feel free to reach out, message us, join the Discord. Anyway, with that being said, you guys have a great evening. Thank you for joining me. IcePick86 out.